Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. My name is DaVatrice Lindsey, and I'm the attorney for the Neighborhood Entrepreneurial Law Project, known as NELP. It launched in 2018 for individuals and for-profit small businesses. We provide residents of the Palm Beach County area the tools and knowledge to be successful in starting and or owning their small business. We also supply limited financial assistance for business registration, logo design, home occupation affidavit, and more for eligible applicants only. And we furnish webinars and podcasts regarding important business topics, such as the topic for today. I have the pleasure of introducing the presenter. Terry Redmond has experience in developing a variety of marketing strategies, lowering a firm's costs while increasing revenues, building brands, driving relevant traffic to a physical location and or a firm's website, recruiting, hiring, operations management, as well as team development. His current marketing expertise is online marketing, which includes web design, SEO, paid advertising, and social media. With 20 plus years of experience, he has managed Fortune 500 companies as well as SMBs. Awesome. Terrence has a high working knowledge of print, radio, television, email, billboard, and grassroots marketing. He is a leader, but also a respectful follower who believes in hard work and integrity. It is my pleasure to introduce Terrence Redmond.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lindsey. And I want to start off by thanking Legal Aid, Palm Beach County, Ms. Lindsey, Ms. Miles, for letting me speak to you guys about my skill set. And I paid her a lot of money to give me that great introduction, so I appreciate it. Again, my name is Terry Redmond. My contact information with IBI Marketing. Oops, sorry about that. There we go. Terry Redmond, CEO of Internet Business Ideas and Marketing, also known as IBI Marketing. I first also want to mention to you guys during this time, this pandemic, worldwide pandemic, something that we experience once in a generation, is I want to say that hopefully no one has lost any loved ones. And if you did, my condolences to you. I want everyone out there to be safe as much as possible and follow CDC guidelines, right? The reason why also, as a token of that, is also go ahead and start reaching out for business. Business right now is still thriving. Some businesses are shutting down or trying to reinvent themselves. But right now, more importantly, people are figuring out ways to pivot, to change the way they're doing business and to market themselves. And one of the main things that everybody knows right now is marketing online is a key, most important factor you need to be doing. Okay, and I'll talk about that in a little bit here. A little bit more about me. Again, I've been doing this for 25 years. I've worked with Fortune 50 companies, Fortune 500 companies, sorry, like Johnson & Johnson, Abbott Laboratories, Birkenstock, Dayco Home Appliance, Nike, University of Washington. And our mission statement at IBI Marketing is to offer business ideas and marketing solutions to new companies, established corporations, and nonprofit. But most importantly, it is to have a positive impact on every client that is in our sphere of influence. Also will be accomplished through a strong sense of faith and obligation to assist others in accomplishing their goals. And why is that so important, having a positive impact on everybody in our sphere of influence? This is also my personal life mission statement. Having a positive impact on everybody you meet is generational impact. For example, you may not know nothing about me. You may just have met me in a store. Or you might know me occasionally, or me might be my best friend or family member. But you say, hey, guess what? Terry Redmond's always smiling, or he's always having a positive attitude, looking at the cup half full, right? Now you might take that and says, I'm gonna try and do that myself. I'm gonna teach my friend that, my child, be like that way with my relatives. And they notice you've done that and they took it on for themselves and they've done this. And they pass it on to others. Their impact goes way beyond than anything I can ever do, right? That I will ever even know. Now everybody can be famous, but everybody can do great things. And these are things that at IBI Marketing we tend to do. So even if we can't help you here at our company, we'll point you in the right direction in order to make you successful. And this is what's really important, especially during these times right now, to have a sense of urgency to successfully help other people out in times of need. So now focusing on the business, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what online marketing is. why do I need online marketing? Well, number one is you're losing market share every day. And so what I mean by that is online marketing has passed traditional marketing, which is radio, print, and television, roughly without a debate, roughly 5 years ago. There's always some debate in between, which was better, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I'm sure you've heard it before, but without a debate, it surpassed it. And even now, as we know, it's definitely surpassed it. But if you're not doing it and or doing it successfully, that share of the market is being lost because your competition is doing it. Also, you don't know your customers. So to truly know your customers, I mean, you think you might know them, but when you really are getting down to nitty gritty, which we'll talk about later, you have to know your customers really well, and online marketing will give you insights you've never even thought of before in order to know your customers better. And next is you have no choice. To be relevant now, you have to do this. Now, this was going at a little slower pace, but it has been sped up exponentially now that COVID-19 is upon us and people are doing things at a remote level, at an arm's distance, and they're Googling things to figure out what they want to do for looking for product, services, and research. So this is a study that was done roughly 4 years ago, and this was a cost analysis benefit of reaching an audience of 2,000 people. Now, this is a general of over all different types of business platforms. So not just one particular one, but just so you know, if you were to do a broadcast or newspaper, magazines, or direct mail, which is typically traditional marketing, right? This is what the cost roughly would be, the raw wholesale cost, what it would be to reach those 2,000 audience. And this is what the digital cost would be for reaching the same type of audience. On top of that, you also, that's just the price point, but on top of that, also the information that you get from digital is, the numbers are not comparable. Okay. Online marketing. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about SEO, which is search engine optimization, pay-per-click marketing, social media marketing. I'm going to talk to you about mobile apps and website design. So just so you know, 94% how people search, do research, search, or purchase a product online is done by using these platforms. So keep that in mind when we go through this. These platforms are what it was 50 years ago compared to the big three, right? So if you're doing marketing 50 years ago, you're looking at radio, television, and print. Print meaning like magazines, newspapers, flyers. Those were the big three. And if you weren't doing those big three, you weren't getting your name out there unless you're doing some grassroots marketing yourself. All right, what is SEO? I'm going to read you the technical version of SEO, the definition. It's a continuous process of increasing the amount of traffic and visibility to a website or web page for various search engines like Google, Yahoo, and Bing via natural organic search results. SEO is a digital calling card. It can multiply your impact massively by getting your website in front of targeted eyeballs. That's technical. Let me give you the layman's version. So 77% of everything on the World Wide Web is organic. So the process of getting you ranked organically is called SEO, otherwise known as search engine optimization, right? There's a couple ways of doing this, not to get too nitty gritty with you on this actual call, on this teleconference, but what I will tell you is that there is technical ways to do an on-page and off-page optimization, which allows your website to move up the ranks in order to be seen on top of Google, Yahoo, Bing, etc. So why do SEO? Well, number one is when you get ranking, people can click on your ad as much as you want online and you pay nothing. It's unlimited clicks. It's your best sales rep for you. 24 hours, 7 days a week. Your SEO is working for you to get you seen in front of the most relevant audience out there. That means they're searching for your keywords, searching for your industry, searching for products you sell or services you offer, and you're being seen there. SEO leverages social media sharing. So we'll talk about this a little bit later, but social media also is integrally involved in this. But what happens is they work together and SEO moves your rankings up your website up the ranks to be seen on first page, second page, or third page of Google, or other type of social search platforms that we mentioned before. Build your brand. So I always mention this. I have a lot of young people that work for me in my company. When I say young, I'm talking about people under the age of 35 years old. So when I tell you that nowadays, the Better Business Bureau, most don't even know what that is or have never even looked it up for a business. What they do is they search. They search online. And so imagine if you have a good digital footprint with SEO, and you're in all these directories, all these reviews about you, and bring to the forefront. So when they search your name, the first page is all about your business. Well, that builds trust. So now the conversation when you're having with the client isn't about if we trust you or if you're a legit company. What's more about is saying, hey, guess what? Let me talk about the product and service that you offer because I need them. It's a whole different conversation. Also, measurable. Very measurable marketing. You hear me mention it a bunch of times in this presentation, but measuring who you're marketing to, how often they're coming to your website, how long they're staying on your website, what keywords brought them there, what general location. All these things are measurable. SEO performs that. Next, pay-per-click marketing, otherwise known as PPC. The technical term of this is it's an internet advertising model used to drive traffic to a website and or landing page. Advertisers are charged a fee per click by website owners and or search engines for potential customers to see information and your product or services. Layman's terms for everybody. Right now, if you were to create an ad and you were to put it on a platform like Google, Yahoo, Bing, Facebook, YouTube, right? So you've probably seen it before yourself. So have you ever been on a site and you've Googled something and then in the top left-hand corner, maybe on Google, the first 2 or 3, they say ad next to it. It's a little tiny box. That's a paid advertisement. If you've been looking on your favorite magazine, a Wall Street Journal, or looking at YouTube, or checking out a video and you see an advertisement come up, whether it's a commercial video or it's a print, those are sponsored or says advertisement next to it. Someone has paid to be on there. As soon as you click that ad, that company pays that platform a cost per click, otherwise known as pay-per-click marketing. So very good, effective way to get a targeted audience looking at your products or services. So why do you pay-per-click marketing? Well, if someone typically right now is typing in attorneys in West Palm Beach, right? Pay-per-click marketing is going to have your name ranked in the top, at least through IBI marketing, within 6 weeks, ranked faster and quicker to the top of Google, right? So in the top 3 spots, roughly, you're showing up and being ranked. That means above the fold, your chance of getting clicked is going to be higher. Also, you set your own budget. So say right now you only have thrown a number out there of $700 a month to do some budgeting. So we can do a crafty budget for you in order for you to pay Google or Facebook per month in order to get ranked. Also, you can get your customers at the right time and right ad. You have no idea when someone's looking for your product or services. They could be looking for your product or service at midnight, at 1 a.m., right? At 6 a.m. It's not just during business hours. So over time, we'll craft that and figure out, do a lot of testing and refining when they're actually looking for your product or services. And guess what? We'll make sure you get in front of those individuals. And getting in front of them is really important because obviously the more times you're being seen, then therefore the more times they're clicking on your ad. And then the more times they click on your ad, go to your website, the chances of you converting them to a client increases tremendously. All right. And also, that I mentioned before, data is tracked. So data is tracked even more granularly than SEO with this. We can, again, talk about the time of day, the actual zip code, the actual city, create a circumference around the area geographically where you want to be at. We can control the budget, which is a little differently. What you can do with this, a lot of different ways to check all this stuff. And we can actually set the actual keyword and what someone's looking for you at, We can pick that keyword that you want or that we suggest that's going to give you the most traffic, and we can actually track that actual keyword in order to see how much relevant traffic you're getting in order to increase your business. Next is social media marketing. Most people know about this already. Sometimes I feel redundant in mentioning it, but what you do know is you just scratch the surface when it comes to social media marketing. There's a lot of stuff that goes on the back end of it that most people have no clue. And at this point, we won't go into it. It's a whole nother presentation I'd love to come back and do for you guys. But what I want to tell you is that the technical word of social media marketing is, or definition, is a communication between people in which they share, exchange, create ideas in a virtual communities and networks. And so think of Facebook. So I'm going to talk about them the most probably because they're the Goliath in the United States. Also the second largest in the world. Facebook and its conglomerates roughly have 56% of the market share. So no matter what you're on, at some point, you're going back to them. People don't know this also. Social media right now is the second largest platform which people buy products from or services. So don't know, it's not Amazon, which is supposed to pass Facebook within the next year, but it's Google, Facebook, and then Amazon. People don't realize that. Social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Reddit, Snapchat, TikTok, you name it, we advertise on it, and we get the most relevant clients for you. It is a gift that keeps on giving, right? So why social media? Brand recognition. Obviously, you got people that have liked your page, et cetera, and you keep putting good content out there. It's like just advertising to people who already like your product or services or passively might see it. I'm going to tell you a quick example is imagine right now if someone was to like your Facebook page. The typical behavior of that is if you don't know anybody, they will click on your site or your Facebook page. They will flip through a few of your posts, sometimes 10 to 15 of your posts. Sometimes look about how recent it is you're actually putting posts up there. Are you offering something of value to them? Because only then they will like your page. Now, this is a stranger. It's not a friend who's liking it because it's your buddy, right? This is something who's liking your page because they like your products and services. And so if they like that page, that means they're welcoming you while they're on their personal time, on their personal page, looking at their friends, and then all of a sudden your ad pops up or your comments pop up. And they don't get annoyed because they want that. And then, so what happens, you have a client for life. You have a loyal customer. You have somebody that you can advertise to, right? And nothing's more important in social media when you have somebody that recommends a client or they went somewhere and they had a great experience, because you see that in social media. And so it is a gift that keeps on giving because you've now got a built-in base of people to market to that are always hopefully going to refer you some business. Not to mention also reputation management. So people don't realize this is that there are thousands of social platforms out there that you never even heard of. Manta's one of the largest in the world. And people don't realize that. And check your name up on there and you'll find out that your information might be wrong. Your phone number, your business name, etc. And these directories have this all the time. Or you might have a review out there about yourself you don't know about. And what happens is now you had a bad review about yourself you don't know, and it was something that could have been easily resolved, or miscommunication, or maybe even the wrong company. Or if you're a franchise, right, maybe even the wrong branch. And so as a result now, you have to do some reputation management, damage control. Whereas if you control your own reputation management, which is done through social media, it is a beautiful thing. And you allow to control your own reputation online. And also detail tracking. I keep telling you I'm going to mention tracking because reporting is so important. It's so imperative. So with social media, unlike the other platforms, you can track gender and age, right? So let me give you an example. If you're using all three of these products at the same time, I can track generally in a zip code where somebody's at. I can, in the ideal world, right? I can track a zip code where somebody's at. I can tell you what time of day they are, if they're male or female. I can also tell you if they have what age they are. I can also tell you how long they stayed on what page on your website, how they found you. I can tell you how many times they clicked through different pages on your website. And so I can tell you if they went to go buy something, what they went to go buy, if they abandoned the cart and left, they plan on coming back, all these things. And how important is that? I can tell you how many times my clients felt like November, December is a slow month for me. And then it ends up being one of the bigger months. They didn't know how to advertise properly. Or, gosh, you know what? In West Palm Beach is really the territory where I get all my business. Come to find out that North Delray is doing 40% of your business. You just don't know until you really have those numbers tracking. You have an idea. Sometimes, most times you really don't know until you start seeing that. And also gives you an opportunity to go back and start advertising to those clients properly. Now, a website. A website is today what a brick and mortar was 50 years ago. So a physical location of a store legitimized you as actual business, right? Well, that's no longer the case. Today, the case is, do you have a website? And people always ask you that because they want to see, number one, if you're legitimate or not. Number two is what products and services you have to offer. Remember, that is your sales rep selling your product and services all the time. Make sure you make it mobile friendly if you have a website. If you don't have a website, number one is get one done. Number two is make sure it's mobile friendly. It is very important you do that because number one is Google's penalizing you if you don't have a mobile friendly website. Yahoo and Bing has followed suit on that. And the reason why I keep mentioning those three search engines, by the way, you guys, is that those three search engines make up literally almost 92% of all searches, 92% on the World Wide Web. So those are the big three. And you'll be surprised when I say another one, ask.com/AOL, right? So just so you know, that's why I keep using those. So forgive me if I'm repetitive and keep mentioning like Google, Yahoo, and Bing. But make sure your website's mobile friendly for many reasons. This is weird. For many reasons, because you want to make sure that it shows up on your, you want to make sure that mobile friendly, so make sure it shows up on people's phones or mobile devices. Next thing is ADA compliant. This is really important and has been really, really important as of late. So what's happened is there's people with disabilities who need to understand your website and see exactly what's going on there, finding relevant links on your website, being able to read your captions, or if they're hearing impaired or visually impaired, right? There's a lot of different things on there that makes a website ADA compliant. Some, and nationally, federal law requires every single company to have an ADA compliant website. So if you go to mine, www.ibimarketing.com, you'll see that. We can do that for you for pennies on a dollar to get you compliant at least, like 90%. So just want to make sure you guys are protecting yourselves by always doing that. And companies are starting to really figure out they have to do that. That's really important. And not to mention, it allows you to be accessible to everybody, not excluding anyone out from using your product or services. Keeps customers informed. It showcases your awesome work. And again, it is your 24-hour, 7 days a week sales representative. Next up is a mobile application, also known as a mobile app. So a mobile app is a software application developed specifically for the use on small wireless computer devices, such as smartphones or tablets, rather than a desktop or laptop computer. So everyone, if you don't know what a mobile app is, if you take out your phone, and maybe you might be watching this on a phone right now, it is the app which is that you have for like Groupon, or a Facebook could be an app on your phone, or in my wife, it's Nordstrom's and Target. And the beautiful thing about a mobile app is it allows you to easily get to the person that you're actually, or the actual business that you're trying to actually contact. So mobile apps in the next 5 years will be what websites were like 10 years ago. Everyone knew they had a website, but weren't really. Those who jumped up and did it really quick are reaping the rewards from that. And the same thing is going on with mobile apps right now. Eventually, everyone's going to be on a mobile device. There's going to be very few people on tablets. There are going to be very few people that are on desktop computers. So as a result, you got to have a mobile device. And in a mobile device that takes up less space, you have a mobile app. Let me give you an example. So right now, if you want to reach out to your clients and they have your app, you can do a push notification. So anytime, that notification can notify them about your product or services or specials you're having. If they're driving within, I think, roughly 100 feet, depending on the territory or location you're in, your ad could pop up on their phone. If they want to refer you business, right, they can literally go to your app, push the refer button, and then push send. That's great for, think about this, attorneys. That's great for people who have power wash, companies who are power washers, or people who might be AC repair companies. Those are also different individuals that it's really important to actually have those kind of apps for. Because imagine right now, if you, for example, somebody said, hey, I need a plumber, I need an AC repair person. I forget who it is. Let me go back to my house. I'll call you later with the number. And chances you forget. Well, if you have it on your phone, you can just click the refer button and send it to somebody. It's that easy. You have specials, you can do that. Increase loyalty. You can have a loyalty card that can do that for everyone. So you have a loyalty card. That's a great also, you know, buy 3, get 1 free, right? Refer somebody, get a referral fee. And you can have that card that's digitally on your actual app to do that. So next up, the benefits of online marketing. Well, again, I told you, especially right now during this COVID relief, is having the ability to market from afar, from a distance. The days of people to people for some time now is going to be hesitant. Even if, for example, they find a vaccine, right? There's people out there in the near future. There's people out there who are still going to be hesitant to be close to close and with individuals. And also right now, they've been taught over the next 2 to 3 months that's been happening right now to find everything they want to do online. And this is exactly what they're doing. And so guess what? You need to be online also, right? This is the most inexpensive marketing tool to get the most maximum relevant traffic. So meaning like the cost is lower than paying for television ads and radio spots that are just brand awareness, by the way. These are people who are Googling right now for an attorney in West Palm Beach, right? They're Googling for a family law attorney, an AC repair person. They're Googling for tutoring for my children. And they gotta make sure you show up for that. Detailed metrics and reporting. I went over that quite a bit during this presentation. Tons of details. The metrics and reporting is really important when doing this. And so therefore, you know how to market, say 6 months or a year later, to your targeted audience. A missed opportunity that many people are missing out on when you already have these kind of metrics available for you. Also, you receive leads that are further down the road on the buying chain. So imagine if you're driving by a billboard. You're driving by a billboard, you see a McDonald's sign. You're not all of a sudden turning off and going to McDonald's because you saw that. As a matter of fact, I bet you right now, when people drive to work, you couldn't name 15 of the billboards you see every day driving to work. But what happens right now, the beauty of online marketing, if right now I'm looking for a Chinese restaurant near me, or I'm looking for, again, an AC repair person in West Palm Beach, that person shows up. They're looking right now to use and get more information about that service. And so they're further down the buying chain in order to use your product or services. And last, if you want to succeed, you really have no choice right now because of this pandemic, more importantly, because people are in their own isolated incubator, so to speak, and researching and buying products and services. But also, this is the way that the future is going. So I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you again to Legal Aid, Palm Beach County, for inviting me. And if you have any questions and want to contact me, feel free to reach out to www.ibrmarketing.com, to our website. There's my personal email, and here is my phone number.
Thank you very much, Terry. We really appreciate that vital information, especially during this time, you know, with COVID-19 going on. I have a couple of questions. Is it okay to go ahead and ask, or do you prefer them to contact you?
We can do both. First of all, take my number down and contact me, but fire away. We have time here, and let's ask some questions. I'll answer some for you.
Okay. The first question is regarding YouTube marketing, such as infomercials. Do you recommend that, or what is your take on YouTube marketing?
I think thank you for the question, whoever asked that. I think YouTube marketing is a great tool, and it all depends on the individual and where they're at business-wise. I'm not trying to deflect by using that as a get out of jail type of answer. What I mean by that is it's pricey, and that also is a brand awareness marketing campaign. So if you're a small business, and you know, small business nowadays, I guess, is determined like 7 million revenue or less, or 500 or less employees, a small business in the United States. But the point is, if you have the money to get a brand awareness campaign. So let me give you an example real quick. So right now you're on YouTube and I'm watching, I don't know, my favorite music video. And then all of a sudden a relevant ad talks about a tennis shoe. Well, I probably wasn't really looking for a tennis shoe at that time. So, but the good news is you got brand awareness out there for somebody that might be involved in interested in tennis shoes, because somewhere in that video, they might have mentioned something about shoes, right? So that's good. So that is a good brand awareness. I do recommend, if you have the money to do that for brand awareness, if you're looking for a quick ROI, I recommend pay-per-click, SEO, or social media.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, they have a website. It was created roughly a year ago. Will the SEO need to be refreshed or reestablished ever so often?
Okay, so Google changes their algorithms several times a month. No one knows how many, sometimes up to 20 or 30. Last time, 2 or 3 years ago, 250 times Google changed their algorithms. What that means is they're always changing the ways that people are reading their websites. So a year ago, by making a website or creating your own website, I don't know if you did it or an SEO company did it, the issue is the website developers across the board, they're great website developers, most of them are, but they don't know how to do the SEO. So they probably didn't put everything in there that an SEO needs to do that. Feel free to contact me and I can review it for you and help you out, point you in the right direction. But definitely I recommend your SEO always needs to be refreshed. SEO, pay-per-click marketing, these things are ongoing things that never stop. It's like paying an electric bill, for example.
Okay. The next question is, how do you suggest researching customers, or your customer base, excuse me, for a medical billing company?
How do you research, say that one more time?
Your customers for a medical billing company. I guess maybe the person is referring to researching how your customers use your marketing. You mentioned earlier that you all can see who has clicked on certain things, the time of day, things of that nature. Ms. Lindsey, if I have your question wrong, please let me know and we can correct it. But I think that's what she was referring to. Okay.
So let me get this straight. So how do you find medical billing? I'm guessing that's what she's saying. How do you find medical billing clients?
Sure, we can go with that. I think she's changing it now. Let's see. Let's see here. How do I reach my customers?
So once a client has clicked on there and reached, perfect question. So on your website, you should always be driving traffic to like your contact us page or to fill out a form to know more about your services, right? So imagine people are coming to your website, you found them, they found you online, they've gotten to your website, and now all of a sudden you want to make sure that you know who they are. In order to do that, there's several different ways of doing that, but the most important way and common way is getting them to fill out a form. Tricks of the trade can be contests, it can be giving away good information, but fill out a form so they can fill out that you can contact them back or buying or purchasing your products or services. And then therefore you can capture that information in order to help drive them, that you can feel free to contact them as you desired.
Thank you. The next question is, how do you respond to favorable social media postings of a competitor so that you don't lose business to the competitor?
Yeah, I love this. So my opinion is, I come from a place of offering great services to others, right? And I also speak for Google. So when I'm speaking these kind of type of little more technical in nature, I'm speaking to my competition when I go ahead and speak to these different clients. I do these presentations. So I'm giving them insights, kind of what I do. There is always room for a good product. There's always room for a good service. And so typically if somebody I feel like they come from a good point of view and they're on my website, they're not promoting it, right? Or on my social media page, and they're just making a comment about, for example, great post, Terry, good information, thank you. That's great. But if they're on there and they're promoting their product or services, then I typically will delete that comment, right? So we're not trying to do that. It's coming from a good place and just supporting each other is where I usually come from. And then people usually see that and it doesn't hurt our business at all.
Very nice. The next question is, what would you recommend for a business that was closed due to COVID-19 and is now reopening?
So again, that comes down to people, finances, and money, what you have the ability to do. So if you have the money, obviously do an online marketing campaign quick. This is going to pass, and at some degree, it's still going to be open. Business is going to be open again. And I always tell people that, remember, whatever you do for online marketing, it typically takes a month to start gaining steam. So if you feel like in a month, things are going to kind of get back to normal, you need to start that process immediately. Meanwhile, if you do not have the money to do some type of online marketing campaign, there's grassroots, aka guerrilla marketing, that you can start doing. Meaning, for example, figure out ways that you can go ahead and touch people one-on-one. Is there spheres of influences that you can call and talk about your product services opening? Say if you're a restaurant, can you call already businesses that are opening right now, let them know that you're available for there, right? Get in the local chamber of commerce and other networking groups in order to do that. I find that networking groups like BNI is great. There's other networking groups similar like that drives referrals in business in order you to get your business a name out there.
Great advice. The next question is, are digital business cards better than paper business cards?
So now you're obviously asking a tech person. So that's a question. So I'm originally, you guys, from California. So, and all my family and friends are back there. So you handing somebody literally a physical business card, to them, it's like you are not saving the environment. So for years, I have them because people in the Southeast region of the United States are really, really particular about actually physically handing a business card. So with that being said, is know your audience. So if someone wants a business card, give them a business card. Have some printed out there for you. You know what? Have it on recycled paper if it makes them feel better, right? But I would say always have both. So nowadays with your phone and you type in your own information on your phone, you literally can type in, Takesha Miles, legal aid, Palm Beach County, her own profile on your actual phone. And then no matter what phone device you have, I don't even care if it's a BlackBerry, you can now just share that contact information by texting it, and that's a digital business card. So they both work.
All right. The next question is, if you're starting from scratch, what's the best way to approach a marketing plan?
Beautiful question. I speak for other nonprofit organizations that help small businesses. I think Ms. Lindsey and I talked about this before, like SCORE is one of them. Before I even talk to a client, or seriously going in depth about their business, I always request you have a business plan. A business plan is hard work. Don't get me wrong. And if I'm sure that Legal Aid has some business plans for you guys. If not, I know I have some blank ones I can give you guys. You can reach out to me. I also know that like SCORE has some templates. Reason why is it will prevent you from wasting years of your life invest into a business without knowing all the obstacles. And so having a business plan is so important. If you don't have the time to maybe do a detailed business, which I recommend, you can do an abbreviated business plan, right? You can do what's called a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It was designed by the Harvard Business School, and it's an abbreviated version of a business plan. But I highly recommend doing a business plan before you start any business. The hours you put ahead is going to save you years of agony down the road.
Right, and the marketing plan is a very integral part of the business plan. So we thank you so much for expounding on marketing today. There's just a few other questions. Out of the SWOT analysis, what is the most important?
All of them. I mean, so you can't have one without the other, right? It's called SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So what is the strength of the company you're building? What are all the weaknesses of the company you're building? You have to know both. What opportunities are out there? So for example, if right now, I give you a prime example for opportunities is I have a client that was literally a below average restaurateur before the COVID crisis. Pretty much going to go out of business within a year. Listen to me, we pivoted. We not only are we just doing the, obviously the pickup and delivery, but we're selling groceries out of this restaurant. In addition to that, the wine sales you normally couldn't get somewhere are being sold for inexpensive prices. And we're doing ingredients on how to sell ingredients. So you can just pick up the ingredients and actually make your own pizza or lasagna at home. Different ways of pivoting to do that. Those are opportunities that you need to figure out what those are. And then the threats. Who else is doing this? What is your price point, right? These are all different important things to do that. That's why it's an abbreviated version. So I always recommend doing a full business plan. So it'll really go through in detail with that. But a SWOT analysis is a good substitute if you don't how to know to do one yourself.
Okay, and the last question is, what should one look for in determining if another business is their competitor?
That's a good question. That's part of your business plan too. So say, for example, with me, there's companies out there that have 500 employees. They only do big box companies. If you're not spending, $10,000, $20,000 a month, they're not touching you. And so I'm not trying to compete with that. So what wakes me up every single day is me helping the small, medium-sized business. That's my passion, right? So don't get me wrong, you notice I have some big, huge companies as my clients, some Fortune 50 companies, but 90% of my business is small mom and pop shops. I love taking that client and seeing them grow. And so now I know my competition, they might have the same price point, but guess what? My customer service is better. Or better yet, I have a conversation above and beyond with them about business. For example, Takesha, is I tell clients, for example, how to do grassroots marketing for their business. Because I've experienced with thousands of people. A typical company is not going to do that. Their job is just to do online marketing. So we separate ourselves and looking at how the competition is doing and what we can do better just by doing exactly that. And remember I said in the beginning of this is having a positive impact on everybody you meet. Part of a business plan is figuring out who you are, figuring out who your core values are. And when you do that, this is the beautiful thing about it. Everything else is good to competition to know these things for aesthetics, right? But nothing's better than knowing who you are and then giving that to the public, because that's who you're going after. Those are the clients that you want. And that's going to separate you from the competition and allow you to be in business for a very long time.
Well, thank you very much. Did you provide your contact information? Okay, I see it now.
Yes.
And so what we'll go ahead and do is allow people to contact you directly if they have any further questions or concerns. We really appreciate all of your information today. It was a very good webinar, very informative and necessary. And you stay safe and healthy. Everyone do the same. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it.
Here, another highlight here